doing a little car discussion. I watched Synth Samurai's video this morning, and I watched Synth Punk's video this morning, and yeah, good stuff, you know. I guess, you know, the whole thing about synthesizers being too expensive is a real thing, and I thought I was the only one. And, you know, we're not all copying each other and jumping on the bandwagon, but I've been saying this for years, and I did a whole video on it. And, you know, I just get really aggravated, excuse me, when, you know, I mean, I was ready to pull the trigger on the Moog Muse. I really was. I was ready to pull the trigger on the Jupiter X. You know, it's crazy. And I just think that, you know, I have a lot of stuff, and I talked about this yesterday. And I do have a lot of stuff. I have a lot of synthesizers. I have a lot of hardware. And I started rediscovering it, and I did a video on that as well. And I know it sounds like I'm repeating myself, but the fun part about it is that I bought all of that stuff because I liked the way it sounded, and it was cool. And being able to rediscover that coolness and that sound palette again is really, really wild. You know, it's a lot of fun. And I know Samurai thinks that the Rev 2 is ugly, and he called it a goth girl. I happen to think goth girls are hot. My wife and I are kind of gothy. My wife's beautiful, and I love her. And I love the black nail polish and the purple lipstick or black lipstick and the black and purple hair, and, you know, I love the clothing, and as you can see, I'm in black. My Jeep's black. Everything I own is black, except for some of my guitars, but most of them are black. But the Rev 2 is beautiful, you know. So, I mean, hey, what's up, Samurai? But, yeah, so, I mean, you know, I really like the Rev 2. I think it sounds amazing. I love the DeepMind 12, and I keep telling you, Samurai, to look into the DeepMind 12. You will not be disappointed, even if you get the desktop version. And the screen is not crap. It's crap because I ruined it. Plain and simple. But yeah, I mean, you know, I was ready to pull the trigger on some of this stuff, and I said, no, I'm not gonna. I already have enough toys to play with that I really enjoy. And I got to tell you, wow, they're doing a lot of construction around here. I'm going to be late to the salt mine because of this, but whatever. So yeah, so, you know, I decided last night, I watched Synthesizers demo of the Sonicware, and like, ooh, I don't know, this looks really complicated, man. But then I watched your video last night, and I was blown away at the sonic quality, no pun intended, of this synthesizer. And if you like droning, and you know, my style of music with my synths is kind of changing. I'm getting more into ambient music. I don't know why. Maybe it just takes you off. It takes you to a different atmosphere, different zone. My friend Manny, who lives in Australia, he is big ambient guy. And you know, he's into this stuff big time. And I sent him Samurai's video, so hopefully, you know, he'll invest in one. But I bought it watching your video. I was like, done deal, you know. And I got to tell you, I'm probably going to be on a long waiting list because I know they're very back ordered right now. But I got to tell you, it sounded unbelievable. It really did. I'm driving, so I can't really see everybody in the welcome. I'm glad everybody's on board right now. Plus the fact I have sunglasses on like I always do, but I am driving, so I can't really read names in the chat. But I love you all, and thank you for showing up. Just going to get on the highway here. Give me a sec. I don't want to get into a car accident. All right, so yeah, man. I actually can't wait to get my hands on this thing. So, you know, in the past, I've been talking about this little project that I have on the side called 3 Machine. And what 3 Machine is it's going to be me just making music with 3 different synthesizers, maybe a drum machine, but just 3 of them, just 3 synths and a drum machine, or maybe just 3 synths. But you know, like I said to Samurai last night, I think what I'm going to do is I might have the Ambient 0 as the centerpiece for doing 3 Machine. I'm not going to set up another channel for that. I'm going to do it on my channel, so it'll be like part 2 of Echo Craft's channel. But yeah, I that's what I intend to do, and I think I'm going to have the Ambient 0 as the centerpiece, and have 2 other synthesizers, maybe a synthesizer and a drum machine to go along with it. I'm going to try to hook it up all through MIDI. But yeah, I think and the cool thing is because it's going to be so long getting this thing, because I know, you know, they're back ordered. That'll give me time to set everything up for what I'm going to plan out for the first 3 Machine video, I should say. Wow, there's a lot of traffic today. That's great. Ha! But yeah, so you know, I'm kind of blown away by the fact that this thing sounded that good. I had it, when I was watching the video last night, I had it running through my studio monitors, and the panning effects, Synthpunk today said, was I hearing birds? Yes, there were birds, there was wind, there was some weird, at one point, Samurai, he had some weird thing happening. It's strange. They had this weird thing going on. I don't know what it was. It sounded like a moose or something in the background. But how cool is that, right? Like, you know, so it had these really nice sounds, and I don't know, I just think it's kind of interesting that, you know, synthesizers, we live in a great time right now where synthesizers have come so far, and they really have. It's mind-boggling. And, you know, it's like, back in the 90s and the 80s, it was really hard to deal with some of the synths that were out there. And a lot of times for me in my studio, and I wish I had pictures of my older studio, you know, I had a Juno 106, I had an M1, I had a Prophecy, Korg Prophecy, I had Waldorf Pulse, I had a Proteus with the orchestral extender built into it. I had an Orbit by EMU. I had an EMU, what was it, the ESI 32, I believe it was called. It was a sampler. Had one of those. I had a bunch of outboard gear. I had, you know, for effects, because really there wasn't a whole lot of DSPs. I remember, you know, when I'm trying to think, was it Propeller Heads first came out with the with the TB303 and the 808 little synthesizer pack, but you could only play it on the computer. There was really no way of getting the sound out and stuff. It was crazy. Wasn't MIDI at all at that time. Reason wasn't even a thing, really. It was just propeller heads. They called it Reason, but there really wasn't much to it. And there were a couple of software companies that came out with these really interesting softwares, synthesizers, but you really couldn't use them because there really wasn't any audio cards. So it was just incredible, and back then, that was it. That was the state-of-the-art stuff. I had a Fismo, an Ensoniq EMU, when Ensoniq, or EMU bought Ensoniq, I forget who bought who, but they came out with this synthesizer called the Fismo, so I had to have that. I bought it. Very strange synthesizer, man. Transient something. I forget what it was called. But yeah, I had some really nice stuff, but again, it was mostly digital. The only analog piece that was in my studio was the Juno 106. So it's very interesting, I just can't believe where we've come, the technology, where it's come from, and where it's going. I myself like Samurai. I do like hybrid synthesizers. I really do. I like the fact that, I guess you could kind of say that, like, some of the earlier analog stuff by Roland, that was hybrid. I mean, you had digital and analog, working together on those machines. Even on the drum machines, you had samples on the TR-909, and then you had the analog part of it. So, it's just incredible. Anyway, we've come leaps and bounds, and, everybody talks about AI. I'm not a big AI fan. I do like AI artwork. That's where most of my album covers and stuff come from. But I don't know about using AI for music. I'm a little bit baffled by that. I don't know if that's going to be, some people are like, oh, it's going to take over, and there's not going to be any musicians left. And come on, man, come on. I don't believe that shit. I don't think, we're not there yet, let's put it that way. I don't think that, maybe not in my lifetime. I'm 62 years old. Who knows, back, in the near future, who knows? But I don't think robots and AI are going to take over, in my lifetime, how musicians create. Now, a lot of people will argue that with me. I've listened to AI music. It's okay. I do think it's fascinating, the AI vocal stuff that's out there. That's really freaking cool. I wish I could read some of these comments, guys, but I can't because I'm driving. And I see some people are really commenting on stuff, and I really wish I could read it. But yeah, I just think that where we are right now with technology for synthesizers is amazing. Analog versus digital, I don't think that's a thing anymore. Hans Volt might argue that point. He's a definite analog guy. But I just think how things, work together now, and how DSPs are being integrated into hardware, and I just think that it's going to be a very interesting next few years. Synth Punk made a reference today saying, he doesn't think that the Moog Muse will be the final end-all synthesizer for Moog, and I agree with him. I think the Moog Muse is amazing. I think it's way overpriced. I was watching Synth Samurai's live stream today, and I forget who it was. It was a gentleman. He actually works in the electronics field, and he said, the price that they're putting on these analog synths and digital synths nowadays is outrageous because he knows what goes into making them. And I just thought that was cool to have kind of like an inside look at something like that. Again, I think a lot of companies rely on their name. Oberheim, Dave Smith, Moog, sequential, I mean, Roland even, a lot of them, I mean, look at Korg. Korg comes out with that beastly, beautiful looking wood synthesizer. I forget the name of it. And, we're making a limited edition and it's $10,000. Get the F out of here with that stuff. I get it. The collector, the collector sits there and goes, I have to have that and put that in my museum of synthesizers. Whatever, man. I don't want a museum of synthesizers. I want to play them. I don't enjoy them. Life spent on this planet is short. I want to enjoy it. I want to play it. I want to have fun. I want to create. And I just think, go back and check out my video on why synthesizers so expensive. I got a lot of hate mail, a lot of hate comments in that video. It is what it is. I'm not hiding anything. I'm not afraid to hide anything. And I say what I want. Synth Renegades, baby. Right? We say what we want. We say what we feel. And if nobody likes it, go to a different channel. Change the channel. And, like Samurai says, we captured the Synth Mafia flag. We're growing. We're growing in numbers because we don't care. Because we play what we play and we like what we like. But I still think, going back to what I said, I think synthesizers are kind of overpriced. And, I just think that something like the Ambient Zero, sounds amazing. And it's a piece of plastic. Go figure. So I bought one. Can't wait till I get it. And I'm almost at the salt mine now, so I'm going to call it a day. Working late tonight. Make some money. Got to make that moolah. But anyways, guys, you know what I always say? Stay frosty, stay creative. And what Samurai always says, peace and slow.